How you feel since last night, man?
Feel even better waking up this morning. Not having to worry about the weight cut is gonna be a big one.
Career-wise, has that been the toughest part and the kind of the worst part of the job for you? Is just the cutting?
Yeah, for sure. I've always said from the beginning, I'm really just looking for a fair fight, and having to dehydrate yourself, and I think it really takes a lot from the fight. We don't get to fight as often too, because when you doing these big weight cuts, you need a lot of time to recover from that. And then I can only do it 2 or 3 times a year. I feel like if we didn't have to do that, I could fight a lot more, and you'll get better fight out of me.
We know that's usually the sort of the toughest part of the job for all of you guys. What have been maybe your toughest moments of your career, the toughest things you've had to go through and figure out how to grow from, I guess?
Probably the toughest one when you say weight cut wise was getting ready for my interim title fight with Tony Ferguson. I had already had an infection going into that one, which made the body kind of hold on to the water even more. So with about 20 pounds to cut in less than 24 hours, it was brutal. The last 6 or 7 pounds were just really tough to get off, to the point where we had to use boiling water just to kind of raise my body temperature even more and make sure I sweat. I can remember being in that tub and being like, I didn't think I was gonna make it, but I didn't want to let everyone down from that. I know that they already had problems with guys missing weights going into title fights especially. So I made sure that I made the weight, but it took so much energy out of me that it made the fight even way harder than it should have been.
When you're sitting there going through that, are those the moments, even back then, where a number like 170 starts creeping into your head? I mean, are you sitting there by yourself in misery going, God, man, I should be at 170. This wouldn't have to happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of thoughts that go through your head during that. It's like, man, I should be doing a 9 to 5 right now. What am I doing? I'm crazy. But this is what we do. We sacrifice our bodies and we sacrifice our health for the sport and for the art. So yeah, those moments gonna creep in, of course. A lot of people have been telling me to go to 170 beforehand anyway, but I kind of float to my own rhythm. So I feel like everything's in great time, and this is the perfect time for it.
Going through the tough stuff like that, I mean, how much does that kind of prepare you for, maybe for the potential for this to be the next kind of phase of your career, this 170 thing?
Yeah, I mean, you learn a lot from every experience. I feel like I've had people ask me what advice would I give a 21-year-old me just fresh out of college into the UFC, and there really wouldn't be much I could say. Sometimes you just gotta go through these things in order to understand what it is that you're doing. You gotta have those experiences. You gotta lose in order to win. So going through those tough weight cuts, they take so much mental energy, and they take so much. It's so hard, and it's so everything in your body is screaming, why are you doing this? You should be doing, drink some water, please. Like when you go through that and you got to fight that, I feel like it's just making you stronger. So we'll see how this whole thing goes. This is my first fight at 170. I'll see how I feel in the cage. It's hard for me to say outside of it and without having that yet. But ask me on Sunday, and I'll let you know.
With the extra 15 pounds, I mean, have you bulked up any ahead of this?
I'm still about the same size. I put on a few extra, and just by not going to a calorie deficit, but I'm just about the same size as my peak weight, I feel like, as an athlete. So I feel I'm gonna be real strong. I've sparred with a lot of middleweights getting ready for this fight, just so I get used to that extra strength and used to the extra size. I'm gonna be ready.
Now, you're not the first guy to go up, obviously, and RDA actually is a guy who moved up from lightweight to welterweight. When you were kind of going over this decision, is he one of the guys you looked at saying, hey, he's had some success?
Yeah, it made sense. There was a couple guys. Like you said, Anthony Pettis did the same thing. Jorge Masvidal. There was a couple guys that kind of already showed we can still have a fair fight. So, it definitely helped the decision for sure.
With all the talk about weight, though, do you find it kind of overshadows the fight itself? Because there's a good fight that you're about to be in.
Not for me, I think maybe for other people, but I get how this thing works. This ain't my first rodeo out here, so not for me. The main thing about it has been it's been allowing me just to focus just on Dos Anjos because I know what type of fight I'm getting into. He's the first former world champion that I'm fighting, so I know what he's put in the work to get that title already. So I know he's gonna show up and he's gonna be ready to go, especially when his back's to the wall. He's gonna come out fighting. So it's allowing me just to focus just on the fight, not really even on the weight cut, and answer questions about it. Really, just it kind of helps if anything.
You said coming into this that you're expecting a bloodbath. We talked to him earlier. He said he's not expecting his face to be the one bleeding. I mean, what are you really expecting from this?
A bloodbath? No, I mean that very seriously. If he don't, then he gonna be in for a rude awakening when he see the blood running down his face and into his eyes. Yeah, I'm expecting a war, and he's gonna come forward. I'm gonna come forward, and we'll see who takes a step back. I'm having my chin down, and I'm gonna be throwing hands, and we'll see how it go, how he play out.
You've been in those kind of fights before. I mean, recently too. I mean, the Iaquinta one was obviously didn't go your way, but there was a lot of throwing hands back and forth in that fight. And do you prefer that, or would you? I mean, I'm gonna assume you're gonna say you'd rather go out there and knock him out in 30 seconds and get the hell out of there.
No, I'm preferring for a good fight. I think now, especially I'm at the stage of my career, I'm still young in the game. I'm still only 26. I'm still growing. I still haven't even hit my athletic peak yet. So I need these fights to grow even more. And I'm going to be in this game for a long time. So I'm looking at it as a marathon. So going against somebody like Dos Anjos, I hope he give me a good fight. I hope he don't just lay down in 30 seconds. I'm going to probably be a little disappointed. I haven't yet given that barn burner of a fight, I feel like, to the fans that have seen me kind of grow up in the octagon yet. So that's what I'm going to be looking to do. And if he ain't, then lay down, and I'm going to get paid either way. But I hope he's ready for it.
What were your thoughts on his last couple of performances? Obviously, he came up short against the champion and the guy who looks like he's going to be fighting for the belt next. Had some struggles. They're high-level wrestlers, but what were your thoughts on it?
I don't take too much away from him. Like I said, he is a former world champion. Those are tough fights for him. They used their size and their aggression and some other things that I'm going to take away from it. But really, I'm just focused on getting back to my natural fighting style. Yeah, my last fight might have been okay, but I feel I could have fought more like me, just pressuring forward and being aggressive. And that's what I'm going to do. And it really don't depend on how his last fight went. I think if anything, his last fight is going to motivate him to do better, and he's going to use that experience against me. So I'm making sure I show up ready, prepared.
Thanks, Kevin.
Of course. Yep.